Hi everyone, and welcome back to Compensation and Coffee. I'm Senem, HR practitioner turned co-founder of Compport, a global compensation management software. Today, I'm excited to welcome Sachi, Vice President of Total Rewards at Sanmina, a leading integrated manufacturing solutions provider headquartered in San Jose. Sachi, welcome. I will give the floor to you, but before I'd like to highlight a couple of things about your experience. Sachi has led global reward strategies for over 2 decades across companies like Marvell, NVIDIA, and now Sanmina, where she oversees compensation and benefits for large workforce worldwide. What is remarkable about Sachi's career is the consistency of her focus in industries where margins are tight and efficiency is everything. From scaling compensation systems across geographies to navigating executive pay and performance-linked rewards, she has seen firsthand how the role of rewards leaders has become more strategic in nature. And again, Sachi, it's such a pleasure to have you on this show. Welcome, and please introduce yourself. I'm sure our audience is curious to learn more about you. So over to you, Sachi.
Thank you, Senem. Hello, everybody. I'm Sachi. I didn't know I spent in comp for 20 years already. Well, maybe I did. I came to the States and I graduated grad school at East Coast. And I got a job in the Bay Area 2007. So since then, I'm here in the Bay Area, center of the Silicon Valley. And as Senem says, it just happened to be all the hardware side, and especially chip companies I've been in and doing comp, feel like forever. Recently, I joined a manufacturing company. It's again the hardware focused manufacturing company. It's been 8 years already. And I told my boss that, I want to do something other than comp. And then I jump into the benefits side of the role. So the past 3-4 years, it's more focused on the benefits, not so much in comp, just because my team is very, very strong on the comp side. So yeah, I think you can just stop me, Senem, on the way we talk in and ask me questions. And yeah.
This is perfect. I think we have the right person to talk about the changing role of rewards. As we all know, rewards has always been about balancing fairness, performance, and business realities. But today the context is sharper than ever. Technology, automation are transforming everything. And most of the organizations, they have so much pressure to be cost conscious, to be more productive and effective. And while doing so, retaining talent and using compensation tools, total rewards as a mechanism is really key. So everything is changing the role of compensation. And today we sit down with Sachi to explore how the role of compensation leaders has evolved, what new skills are needed to thrive in a data-driven era, and how leaders can navigate the tension between pay, performance, and business priority. So this is the context, and let's start with the very first question and then gradually dive into our main topic. Sachi, can you take us back to the beginning? And what first drew you into compensation? And how did those early years shape your approach to rewards and now benefits?
Well, why comp? I was an accountant after I graduated college, and it's a number-driven person. And of course, when I went to the grad school, which the industrial labor relations school, which is originated to produce union management people, and of course, union. A lot of students go to the corporate life doing the corporate HR. So we study not only union management negotiation, but labor econs, HR management, OD, and all kinds of stuff. But out of all the, the HR modules, it's natural for me to do comp. And I've been fascinated. And then that's why I started my career as a comp, and then I'm still doing a comp. I think and also I just not just a number driven person. I'm a extreme introvert. I feel comfortable sitting in front of the computer crunching numbers. My position doesn't allow me to do all day long, but yeah, that's I think it personally and also the background wise, it's with me, doing the comp, acting as a comp professional.
Perfect, perfect. By the way, I'm also very introvert, and throughout my career, I had several HR roles where I needed to interact with many people and became really social. So yeah, but yeah, I know what does it mean to be an
Yeah,
introvert.
yeah,
It has
yeah.
both the good sides and maybe challenging sides. Perfect. Thank you so much, Sachi, for sharing your own profile and your own. So throughout the years, I'm sure you saw many changes, but looking at the role of a compensation or rewards a leader over the last, many years, from your point of view, what is the biggest change that you are observing?
As a leader in the comp field change,
Exactly.
I've been in the very tight margin industry throughout the career, and it's always laser sharp focus on the cost, always throughout. And I happen to pick the company where founder slash CEO is in the leading the company, like NVIDIA, Marvell, and as well as Sanmina. It's their focus is very much, HR is at the cost center. And then your job is to focus on how you maximize, without spending a lot. That's always has been. So I haven't really seen any big changes, although I'm always like kind of jealous of people working at Google's or the Facebook, that you have plenty of money and rows of analysts taking care of your work. I never been in that position. So maybe if you ask those leaders who work at those companies, and now I think that their focus is also changing to the cost cutting mode, given especially this current administration and current economy environment. But I think you're asking to the wrong person, because I'm always asking and I am still focusing on the cost side.
By the way, I have also a perspective about this topic. For me also, there isn't much change happening. So we are just, every year we are experiencing a different version of what we experienced maybe in the previous year. So but going forward, I think technology, AI, I think those will definitely change the way we are doing things. But
Yeah.
so far, I think I'm with you. Um, Having said that, you highlighted the cost pressure. I think today, all the organizations in some shape and form experiencing the same. I think that's the reality for many industries, for many organizations worldwide. That is what I observe. And one key thing is about the link between pay and performance. I think that's fundamental. What do you think about that link, Sachi? Do you think it is changing? Because sometimes I observe some companies strengthening that link. And on the other hand, some companies who are trying to disconnect the link between pay and performance. So I'm a bit confused there. I need your insights. How do you see the link between pay and performance? Increasing, decreasing, or dynamics are changing? What is your view around it?
When the budget is tight, we really focus on the performance. We differentiate the pay based on the tough performance more harder than ever. But when the budget is relatively bigger than the previous years, or people tend to be equitable. So I think with the current economy, it's a lot more differentiation of based on the performance. But again, I don't really believe in the performance appraisal. It's a lot of lack of training for the manager side. I think that depending on which organization or company you work, but throughout my career, I think performance assessment is extremely hard. Using the same skills throughout the company, throughout the level and job is almost impossible. So rather, I always push, just pick the top 10, top 5, because you know who the top 5, right? And then my job is to make sure that, the top 5 is way above the market, way above the peers. That's all I focus. I think the performance management is a different topic, but I found it very difficult for me to assume that performance calibration throughout the organization is equitable and fair enough for me to use as a metric to distribute the comp budget. I think that given this, again, this uncertain economy, budget tend to be tighter, which means leaders need to really identify the top to make sure that the pay is being differentiated.
Perfect. I think you are very right. Performance management is not an easy, I think, business. And having an equitable performance management system, a fair one, accurate one, is extremely important. And that's not the case for every organization. It's a tough job. But we all know who are the top performers. So if we can differentiate top performers and if we can incentivize or reward them, I think as comp professionals, we will be doing the right thing. So you highlighted a couple of times the cost, the pressure, budgets becoming tight. I fully agree. And I think this context pushing HR and rewards teams to be more creative or to take smarter decisions. So from your experience, so can you give us some examples when budgets are tight? What is the best way to manage the total rewards? What are some, hints and tips that we can learn from you, from your experience?
Oh, there's a lot of things we've done, like back in 2007, 2000, when was it? 2008, the economy and the body tech industry was extremely bad. We had multiple layoffs, and I think we are in a kind of similar situation. We are trying to reserve some of the cash, and we did a lot of different things, like PTO cash out. Like back then was more focused on the stock options, and we did some tender offers, right? And then I think right now I'm always trying to be a little creative in terms of not just saving the cash, but maybe we use equity for the higher level, just if the bonus is bad, right? And then instead of standard vest, we use accelerated vesting. That way we can, you get the same value, but the stock price might go up, hopefully. And then you get, after 12 months, you get the cash out. Or like PTO cash out is very still trendy in the body too. You get, it's a PTO is the company financial debt. So we're going to be debt free. And then people get the instant cash. Or some, even we think about employee of the month, we have many factories, I would say 20 plus in US. And then some small things that you nominated as employee of the month, and you get your company, these are parking spot, like kind of recognition. We need to be creative when the cash are really tight. So those kind of things I always constantly thinking about what we can do when we need to save. The bonus payout is not great. Internally, as speaking on my team, traditional comp analyst role doesn't need to sit in the US. So I have somebody taking care of the, more task-oriented role as a comp analyst in Mexico. It's like fraction of what we pay in the Bay Area. Yet, she speaks almost perfect English. I get to know what's going on in the Mexico operation, and the time difference is only 2 hours away. So a lot of, I'm not only just thinking about the company-wide comp strategy, but also how we can maximize as a department-wise what's the most, effective way for us to operate as the HR function too.
I got it. So from multiple angles, from multiple perspectives, I think you're approaching this. And yeah, I think starting from the HR team, there are certain actions that we can take in a cost sensitive context. On the other hand, I hear you. Long-term incentives, I think they are great instruments there, and we can be really creative there. And the good thing is long-term incentives are very clearly connected to company value, the company's direction, company's strategy, and company's growth. And as company does perform, it's great to distribute the success, share the success in the form of long-term incentives with certain employees. I think inside our organization, there are different populations and they have their own priorities, own needs. And if we understand what they prioritize, what they need, I think it's also a way to maybe handle our tight budget, so that we can make sure that we are investing in the right place for that certain employee segment.
Yeah, and also like the generation wise, like older people prefer more cash. Younger, if you want to attract young kids, I shouldn't be saying kids, but even like a small company shares you get, and then you feel like I'm a part of the company to drive the higher revenue, and that incentivize them, right? So yeah, I think also we need to think about what element of pay would be attractive to what segment of not only the segment of the business or level, but also, the profile of the employee population.
Yeah, exactly. And that requires understanding of the organization psychology, the different, employee groups, their needs. And I think to achieve that, the rewards team, they need to really stay close to the people that they are handling, they are working with. Yeah, it's extremely important.
It's a little more complicated when you're looking at different geographies, different countries. We have 23 different countries we operate in. And everybody's preference is so different. I can't satisfy everybody, but it's extremely interesting, but extremely complicated too.
Yeah, while saying it is easy, I know, but doing it is really, really difficult. Yeah. Such it's great that you mentioned about the global organization, and my next question is about it, because in global organizations, there are some global priorities, global policies and principles. On the other hand, locally affiliates, they have their own priorities, realities. How to balance things? So it is not, a global wants to something, a local sometimes resists those things. But we need to find the right balance. And my question to you, how we can make the right balance and how we can ensure that global policies are, working in harmony with local needs and maybe priorities?
I think we trying to harmonize the benefit side, but not so much on the comp side. Because if that's throughout my career, not just my current company. It's a very corporate-centric comp program in place, regardless of the population size like I work for 4,000 to this 40,000 employee population, but throughout it's just corporate-centric comp planning. We don't customize it because it's extremely difficult to maintain if we customize it. And I know there is a preference and there's a more appetite for this and that, but we can't accommodate. But we do for the benefit sides, like, you know, they have their special holiday, they have their own, you know, car allowance policy that's in place in the market, or life insurance, and it's more localized. But for comp side, I think that's applicable for most of the tech companies in the US. It's a very corporate centric. I think it's because of especially when it comes to equity, it's very tightly regulated if you're the public company, right? That's one legal aspect. It's stopping us to be localized. But also maintenance-wise and its management of localized policy is very challenging. Although we have like a slightly modified bonus program for this plan and that, but I think it's a very, I would say, company-centric, corporate-centric comp policy we have.
Got it. Thank you so much, Sachi, for sharing that. And now my next skill is, what are the future skills that we should have in the compensation rewards teams? I mean, let's look at maybe next 5 years. So what kind of new skills do you expect, Sachi?
New skills?
I know you have a great team. I know they have certain skills, but things are changing. They might be requiring some new skills as well, like everyone. So
that's also depending on the level you're at. But throughout the levels, you have to know the business, you have to know the industry. There's a lot of, not just the rewards people, but a lot of HR people don't even know what's happening at the company. It's not really, you know, if you want to be the business partner, you have to know the business, right? And like my boss is a very business person, not the HR leader. He knows sometimes more than CFO when it comes to financials. And we all have to be like that to talk to the business. But I think that the new skills we would need, you know, when I'm doing the exec comp, we just finished the big September comp committee. But a lot of things I tend to ask to ChatGPT. You know, all the information is public and I get the instant answer. And of course, I have the basics, so I know when their answer is incorrect. So I have some sort of filter, but I realize those very niche, specialized field of comp will be gone very soon. This, you know, the exec comp consultant charging us $900 per hour. It's gonna be, you know, AI, or they can't charge that much, right? And then that's not just the exec comp field. If you're focusing on just one segment of the comp, your job is at risk. You have to be kind of jack of all trades, and then knowing your business, knowing your industry, knowing your people. That's irreplaceable because machine will take a while to get to the level. Maybe in 10 years they get to the level, but not for the immediate future.
It's true. But it's also full of surprises. So we don't know what will happen in the next 1 year. Things can change dramatically. And I'm really excited and curious to see it. And you're very right about ChatGPT. And when I'm also having some meetings with my team colleagues. So everyone is on ChatGPT. So during the meeting, they are asking something and then they are sharing their view. It's part of our life. I think artificial intelligence is changing the life for everyone. So, in your circle, Sachi, so I know you live in the Bay Area for quite a long time. So, do you observe or see companies who are really progressive in incorporating AI into their organization, into the way of work? So do you have any example you recently heard? Anything that can inspire us?
I mean, like a sourcing, when you're hiring and sourcing, there's a lot of AI. And then there's, there's a couple of startups, like your AI is going to make your life much easier. You don't need this many headcounts, blah, blah, but I don't know. I don't know in reality, it's replacing. Of course, there's a trend, and then I can see myself sometimes at risk, right? there will be a lot of jobs will be gone, but I don't see that much yet. I know the Salesforce yesterday, Benioff said that AI is going to replace your job, so we're going to cut 2,000 jobs, and they're constantly laying off. But I don't really know. I think that people use the AI to let people go as an excuse nowadays. But I can see some of the job will be really going.
Yeah, going, and some jobs changing dramatically. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah. Oh, cool. So it's an exciting time. Let's see what will happen. What will AI do to us? But I think the best way is, I think we should try to envision, maybe learn more, search for, and before AI does something to us, we should do something with it. So I think that's my approach. And Sachi, I think this was a very candid, flawless, a real conversation that we had. First of all, thank you so much.
Yeah,
we are about to close, and before closing, I have one final question. If you could send one message to your younger self, just starting out in the corporate life, in compensation rewards, what would it be? What would that message be?
So, there's a lot of things I wanted to say to my younger self, including like you should have taken a lot more statistics class and more economics class, and the harder side of the academics field. But other than that, the network is everything. Like the human network is something that you have to build. And then that gives you a lot of insights and resources, and not just limited to the HR network, but always be curious to others, be curious about what others doing, right? Knowing the person more, and build a network and help others. And then at the end, they will help you. Now, as I said, I'm a very introvert. I'm not outgoing and reaching out to people to connect, but slowly, I realized that the importance of the network. Even an introvert me was building small network, and then that helps you tremendously. Career advice or job, not just limited to job. It's a very small world you're living in. And now, AI can't build a network, they can't build your social network that you built over the years.
This is an amazing, I think, message, and very true, Sachi. Thank you so much for sharing it with us. I think we are, as humans, in some way connected to each other. And thanks for highlighting the importance of connection. And I think in your network definition, there lies curiosity. There lies, knowing more about others, helping each other. I think that's so, so valuable. So thank you so
Yeah,
much
it
for
sounds
sharing.
very cheesy, but I think it's very important as you get older.
Yeah, so I think the meaningful, relationships, connections, full of, curiosity, knowing, learning, and helping. I think that's so. That's not cheesy. That's very, I mean, something good to have.
Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah. And so I will do now the closing session. But anything you want to mention before we close overall?
No, thank you for having me, and it was a pleasure. It never actually, even for the job interview, I never think about my career or never had an opportunity to. I've been, asking people whenever I have in, hiring people, but I never kind of think about my own career journey or anything for a long time. So thank you for giving me that opportunity.
Thank you so much. It is our privilege, Sachi. It is really very nice, very great to have you in this conversation. And thank you, all of you, for tuning in, and to Compport for sponsoring this. And don't forget to keep following and listening to Compensation and Coffee on LinkedIn, YouTube, or Spotify. And we will have exciting discussions on the way. Keep following us. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, Sachi.